We'll go ahead and get started. We're here tonight for a third and final reading of our proposed millage rate, which is we're actually going from 8.0070 down to 8.0000, which we are lowering it. The millage rate's not a lot, but at least we're going in the right direction. Do you want to go ahead and play the video, and that'll kind of open things up, and then I'll have some comments or questions if we have anyone wants to talk to us about it.
Thanks for joining us for a look at the millage rate simplified. Before we talk about the definition of the millage rate, let's talk about why we even have to have one in the first place. In short, we have a millage rate because the state of Georgia says so. The state requires all local governments, like county, city, and school boards, to adopt a millage rate to pay. Part. Here's what it really means to us. It's the tax rate used to calculate local property taxes, and it represents the amount a homeowner has to pay for every $1,000 of a property's assessed value. Here's another way to think about a mill. A mill equals 1/10 of 1%. So, here's an easy example. If your home's property value is $1,000, then 1 mil would equal $1. Before we get to an actual property tax calculation example, I need to tell you that in the state of Georgia we use two different values to help determine a mill. One is the market value, and the other is the assessed value. Here's the difference. Market value is the current estimated amount that property can be bought or sold. Assessed value is 40% of the market value and is used as the basis for calculating the property tax levy in Georgia. So, if the market value of a parcel of real property is $150,000, then its corresponding assessed value is $60,000. Likewise, if the assessed value of a second parcel is $50,000, then its market value is $125,000. Now, let's look at the calculation of property tax for a single parcel of real property. If the market value of that single parcel of real property is $150,000, that makes the assessed value $60,000, or 40% of market value. With a mill rate of 8 mills, or 0.008, that puts the annual property tax levy for that single parcel of real property at $480. So how is the millage rate determined? Each local authority, like the county commissioners and the school board, come up with its own budget, while at the same time the tax assessors are evaluating all real property in the county. Each of the governing authorities considers the amount of money they need to raise to fund the budget through property tax revenue, considers the property tax value or the overall digest value of the county, and then they determine the rate at which they must tax the real property value or the millage rate. And every governing authority decides their own millage rate, which can be seen on your tax bill. Now that we know how the millage rate affects property taxes, how does Dade County compare? On a national level, taxrates.org says that Dade County has one of the lowest median property tax rates in the country. And in an article from easyknock.com, Dade County was cited as having the 4th lowest property tax in the entire state of Georgia. What is a millage rate rollback? When a total digest of taxable property is prepared, Georgia law requires that a rollback millage rate must be computed that will produce the same total revenue on the current year's new digest that last year's millage rate would have produced had no reassessments occurred. Here's an example. If we have a property value of $100,000 with a mill rate of 5, the total tax revenue is $500. If that property appreciates to $125,000, in order to keep the same total tax revenue, the millage rate would have to be rolled back or decreased to 4 mills. So, even if the millage rate is kept the same, it still results in additional property taxes collected or additional property taxes, which is why, by Georgia state law, we have to advertise a tax increase. You have a chance to weigh in on the Commission's pending decision regarding the millage rate. Just attend one of our public hearings, August the 4th at 11 o'clock a.m., August the 4th at 6 o'clock p.m., or August the 12th at 6 o'clock p.m. If you have questions, please feel free to give us a call at 706-657-4625 or email us at info@dadecounty-ga.gov. Thank you for watching this presentation of the millage rate simplified.
Okay. Do you have any questions? I know you're here tonight for a reason, so if y'all want to come up and speak to us, you're welcome to, pertaining to our millage rate. Any comments at all?
The biggest question we had, of course, there were several other tax increases over the last 3 or 4 years. One of them was a view tax, which we thought we paid for our view when we bought our property. The second one was the vinyl tax, the vinyl siding tax.
Yeah, I got that one.
Now, in addition to that, I don't understand why the unincorporated is getting hit so hard compared to the incorporated. If you could please explain that.
Well, the vinyl tax, and that the meeting that's going on right in there now, they're the people that set that. They're the one that do the view tax, the vinyl tax, and all that. So she can answer that for you. That's they're the assessors that come out and determine that. Because I got hit with it too. I mean, not the view tax, but the vinyl. I couldn't understand it. But as far as the you're talking about the unincorporated, while we're actually going down, I mean, we're not. What do you mean by being hit harder with the unincorporated?
Why there's such a difference between the unincorporated and incorporated?
The city of Trenton. So your incorporated is all the city of Trenton. They pay the incorporated tax. The city taxes plus they pay the unincorporated. They're taxpayers, county taxpayers too. So that's the difference. And if you live in the city, you've got different. I'm
the only one up here that lives in the city. I get to pay both of them.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's great. If you move to the city, it ain't like you get to miss the other one. You just get to pay both of them. So yeah, that is correct.
Yeah. They have sewer. They have garbage pickup. They have things that they pay that are the unincorporated. The country part of the county, which is unincorporated, don't have. And we still offer law in their fire and all that. But that's where that big deal is. The big difference is, yeah. I tell you, before they leave, I wish you would actually. I don't know how long their meeting's going to last because it's odd that they'd have a meeting the same night we have it. But anyway, they're the people. That board is meeting right now at 6 o'clock, and that is a good question to ask them on. Now the view tax, you have bluff property. Is that what it is? Okay, that would be a good question for them.
They are actually, I think it was at 5, so they might still be in there, but I don't know.
I thought it was 6.
It was at 5 o'clock.
If you go out this door right here and just turn right and go right at the end of this hall, that's where the assessor's
Yeah, straight down
office
that
is at.
hall.
Would they also be the ones responsible for, we tried at one time to combine our properties, and we were told we could not.
Exactly.
Yet our neighbor did the year before we did.
Yeah.
Are they also the ones?
They're the ones. They're the people that can put it together. They're the ones that can combine. Like if you've got 3 sections, you want to put it together and pay one lump sum. Go out this door right here. Go right out here, turn right, and go straight down that hall. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And if not, let me tell you something. You come back in here in the morning. If you'll come back here tomorrow, we'll go down and sit down and talk to them. And I'll meet you. I'll introduce you to Paula. She's the chief appraiser. She's over the whole office, and you can have a talk with her.
What time?
9 o'clock, 8:30. I get here, or if you don't get here earlier than that, I get here early, but it's whatever time y'all want to get in.
Okay, thank you.
All right, okay. Okay, I got 3 more people here. Any questions?
I have a question.
All right.
I watched the meeting last week and I left the meeting very frustrated.
Hmm.
I felt like there was some legitimate concerns brought up and it's just kind of like they were just dismissed. They were just, it wasn't even thought about, it was just quickly dismissed.
Hmm.
And there was an excuse behind every expense. I felt like there was a lot of waste from the community. There's a lot of waste. You know, I feel like programs should be analyzed to see if they're still viable or not.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that's been done, maybe it is, but it was just, I just felt like there was some things brought up and it was just quickly dismissed, and that was my frustration.
What were some of those items? Like, can we clear up?
Nothing is, nothing specific, but, you know, somebody mentioned that the different programs are waste, you know, like, a program to me may not be viable, but it may be to like a senior citizen or something. And that's legitimate, but, you know, if there's a huge expense, if the program is a huge expense and only a small number of the community are using it, it's not a viable program and it's just a lot of wasted money.
Sure.
It's a heavy load for taxpayers to not have a huge bang for their buck, basically. And, you know, if, I missed the part about, some gentleman brought up about the jail inmates being utilized, and I thought that was a
What
great
was it?
idea.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
The jail inmates being
Oh, yeah.
used. I know they're used at the transfer station. I
Yes.
feel like they're a valuable resource to our community. They make our community better as a whole, and it's, you know, just thinking outside the box, there's ways that we can, cut back, but it was just like everything that was brought up, it was quickly dismissed. And there was some excuse behind why that, you know, why that expense was justified, instead of considering, maybe we need to sit back and just think about it or accept it, and that was my frustration with the meeting, so. If taxes need to go up, they need to go up, but I think, I feel like government's always saying, we need more money, we need more money, we need more money, and they never consider what's being wasted.
See if it locked.
Well, that's why we actually, tried it the last few years. We went actually down on taxes. We've got MO growth, and I understand what you're saying. And I know just a few years ago, we were faced with some people here that came into us, and they were really irritated at us. They were seniors, they were 50 and old, didn't have children, but they were so irritated at us because we were actually spending money down here on our sports complex because they don't have any children that play there. So why should they pay taxes to have these kids, a place to play?
Right.
And they were just, they just didn't see it. Well, you got to think about what's going on. These kids are our leaders. They're going to be our leaders one day. And we try to, we work with the schools to provide them everything we can, but it goes back to those saying, you can't please everyone. You can't, you can't. And I wish, if you just in your spare time, you jot down a few things and bring it to me and some things that you think that we're doing that's wasted. And I'm not saying we're not. We're doing the best we can, and we can't see everything. We try to, but we can't. I'll look at it. I'll talk. We'll sit down in the office and we'll go over them and we'll because I respect your opinion.
Like last week, it was brought up, there was a conversation about the, a Tahoe for the jailhouse, and from what I've heard, the officers are able to pick whatever vehicle they want. It doesn't.
The
matter.
sheriff can.
It doesn't matter the cost.
Yeah.
And taxpayers are paying a heavy fine for them to get what they want, instead of having a job having a vehicle that meets the need.
Yeah.
You don't
And-
need a Tahoe for a high pursuit vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, you need a smaller car with a bigger engine for that.
Yeah.
It's, but it was just quickly dismissed that, it's fuel efficient, it's got kids home to school, from school or whatever. But that happened once in 40 years. When's it gonna happen again? It's not a legitimate expense.
Yeah.
And it's just quickly dismissed.
Yeah.
I felt like everything that was brought up was just quickly dismissed, and that was my question.
Well, the cars are paid through, how are they actually?
Splosh.
They're actually paid through Splosh.
But it's still a tax that
Yeah.
we're paying for, whether it's
Right.
property tax, income tax, whatever, it's still a tax that we're paying. And funds are not, if they're not being utilized properly, regardless of where it comes from,
Yeah.
it's still being taxes out of our pocket.
Yeah. And and just touching on what you just said about the cars, and the sheriff is a constitutional officer, and we're elected officials. A constitutional officer, he has a right. Once his budget's set, he can buy. If he came to us tonight, sit right there where you're at, and he said, "Look, I need a Bell helicopter. It's only $3 million." We look at each other. Well, he's one of the few people in the country, or in any government, that can bankrupt a county legally. We cannot. If he has one Superior Court judicial person that would stand behind him and say, "Yeah, drugs are pretty bad. He does need it," we would have to go out and borrow that money and put everybody at risk, or tax risk anyway, and do that. Of course, that'll happen because he's committing political suicide by doing that. Getting back to the cars, yes, once that budget's set, he has X amount of cars he can buy a year out of that spot, which is 3. I think it's 3 a year, right? That we do. And he can buy pickup trucks if he wants to, or he can buy whatever. I remember back when I was growing up, the Walker County sheriff over here, and this was before you were born, he decided that he would buy 6 brand new Trans Ams for patrol cars. People come unglued. They just, this is sports car. This is Trans Ams back when the Smokey and the Bandit thing was going on. He did it. And he equipped them. Now, he wasn't elected the next year. What in the world, going? So what you're talking about is things like that. But when it goes to constitutional, we have Mr. Cross, he's our sheriff, he's constitutional. We have Kathy Page, her probate judge, they're constitutional officers. And we have the probate judge. That's 4 constitutional officers that we have. And they can challenge us on anything. We set their budget, and we're as tight as we can with their budget. But once it's set, if he's got, the money in there, then they can go, actually, and they can buy it. They can do it. And that's why budget time is so critical to us and to everybody. And I preach that every year, because that's when we have these meetings. We sit down, but they don't have to say we're going to buy, 3 Crown Vics or 3 Tahoes or whatever. It's what they feel. The chief sheriff, the high sheriff of the county, that's him, And I'm not throwing the blame. It's the fact, So there's a lot we need to talk about. Really, if you just kind of jot some of this down, because I'm always open for people. I don't, like I said, we don't see everything. And you're of a generation that we need. You're here. You're our leaders. We're not. I'm not going to be here always. And people like you need to step up. And because you've got ideas, you've got different visions. Good. And I appreciate it more than you know. I know you think I'm just blowing smoke, but I'm not. Really. Yeah.
A lot of the frustration is, I grew up here, and sorry, I don't know where all of the tax money goes, but there's not been a lot of changes.
Yeah.
I know in the last 25, 30 years around our community. I know they've done it to schools, done fix the schools.
Yeah.
They, did some work down the fields and everything.
Well, this
but
building.
all of it, exactly.
Yeah, the courthouse.
Exactly, but how much is ever being utilized? Is that even considered,
Yeah.
And it's just frustrating that all this money goes in every year, and then every year it's always, we need more money, we need more money, we need more money.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I won't put my 2 cents in. I'm like you, I don't like paying taxes at all. When I come in, I was talking with Don the other day, and we were discussing things, and I thought we had, out of our budget, there's 48 different departments that come out of that $12 million. I know small companies got 7 men that run on about a $2 million budget. So, I'm gonna take the sports complex. There's 3 men that run that. There's 7 ball fields, 3 football, 3 soccer fields, or whatever you want to call it. Chattanooga, they allocate 1 man per field. We're at 3. The road department, we're at 5 or 6. But everybody wants another building, and that's my thing when we build something else. Anytime we build another building, you just raised your budget. Period.
That's what we were just talking about before we even started this meeting. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Storm shelters, they're coming in, it's on grant money. We'll match it 80-20. But once it's built, then it goes on the general budget to have to maintain them. So we could cut, but you're gonna see it somewhere. And that's my biggest problem. roads is to pave our roads, and we're working really hard on Hell's Gap. That's a goal that I think will come before maybe the end of the year.
Oh, it'll come by fall, by winter time, it's
Yeah,
gone.
but, and with that though, those, the shelters, the animal control, the people's already voted, for those things. So it's kind of one of those, it puts us in a spot that that's what the people's voted for. So it's something that needs to get done. So eventually it's gonna have to go into that process, so.
Insurance, we had Blue Cross Blue Shield, they went up like 40%. So we had to change, it still went up 14 or 15%. And we changed, companies to bring that cost down. And I'm like you, we're about the same age, so it ain't changed much. But is it the change that you want to see from government, or is it change that you want to see from private business?
Oh, well, I agree. I mean, we have no control over private business and what they do. But again, it goes back to waste. You even analyze your programs to see, if it's severely underutilized, why do we have it going? Why are we shoving all this money at something that people are not utilizing? When you can put that money over here where you need it for a storm shelter or for, whatever, it is being highly utilized. And it's like things are, you continue to do the same thing just because that's the way it's always been done and nobody wants to change, but sometimes change is necessary.
I agree.
And people just don't want to do that because, you've always had this program, so you always have to, you just have to figure out a way to make it work, to continue with that program, even if it's not viable, because there's a small handful that may utilize it.
And there are some uncontrollable costs that are not in our control.
Right.
Gas has went up 40%, they said today on TV, since January the 20th. I haven't got a number yet from Billy how many hundreds of thousands of gallons of fuel this county uses, but that's $1. Well, 75 or 80 cents right now, and we don't know where it's gonna stop between now and next year. In our transfer station,
That's what,
people don't realize that's their tax dollars at work and our transfer fees, the dumping fees that we pay are going up, they're skyrocketing. Commissioner Alan Bradford and Melissa's reporting on it now. The last meeting he said that he was at, he said, I don't know what we're gonna do if this tonnage keeps growing, it just keeps getting higher and higher. So there's some things that are out of our control. The employee insurance, we gave 2% raises. You got kids, you know what groceries have went up. It's not gonna be enough to cover the grocery bill, but
We
we
appreciate you, I know, I hear it a lot, but if you really want to get serious with it, you start just jotting down things you see that you think we need to cut. Bring it to us. I'm sorry, I got a cough, but we, under that same group that did the study, we didn't even know they were doing this survey of the state in this group, but we were not only one of the lowest in the whole country of millage rate, we're about the third or fourth in Georgia, but they also came back and we're one of the top 5 in the state of Georgia that actually, and this is a private company, didn't even know they were here and were doing the audit and all, but because we're audited all the time by the state and the federal too, but we were also in the top 5 of the counties in the state of Georgia that utilizes the county tax money dollars wisely, and they did it in depth. It surprised me. It's kind of like coming in and being audited and you don't know it, and then you go back and you start looking at things. They looked at everything, and they looked at like 70% of your money you pay your taxes. Like if you write a check and you pay your property taxes, it's like 69 point whatever. 70% goes to your schools. And then we get that other portion to run the sheriff's department, the roads, bridges, everything else, the transfer station, all the ball fields, all the light bill, the ambulance service. And it's hard. It's really hard. And if you really, we'll give you some money, some numbers, real numbers to look at what we do in a year's time to have this to run this county, and you'll see what I'm talking about. We got to be, and anything I can pick up or the commissioner can pick up that we're overlooking, we need it. We didn't know. We're the everyday people just like you, really. I appreciate you coming. I do.
I'll give
Appreciate you
my
bringing
card.
little ones, yeah.
You can call
I'll
me.
give you my number too, direct to my cell number. Appreciate you bringing young ones too. Yeah.
And we sure
Any
didn't mean,
questions?
we sure didn't mean to blow by the answers that quick that way. They're not intended, it's.
Hmm.
Just like on the paving though, when we paved Morganville Ridge Road, cause it was falling off, when we paved it, the day we was paving it, Kerry put it on Facebook. My phone was getting blowed up from people going, Hell's Gap, well, it's gonna be it, and same thing with
Burkhalter also.
Burkhalter. But I had people from Murphy's Hollow going, our road's not been touched in 15 years. Dugan Loop ain't wide enough to pass without somebody getting off the edge of the road. Creek Road's got another bank that's falling. Either we're doing dead level best we know how, I mean.
Well, kind of unrelated, but, is there a way to change how, like, okay, there's a community that's being built, it's past my house, but it's across the Tennessee line. But all these dump trucks, all these log trucks and everything are constantly tearing up the roads. Or is there anything we can do to, make them use Tennessee roads or tear those roads up instead of ours? Or we're just stuck with them using our roads?
There, you're probably talking about out on Dennis, out there on, with the, we've had the DOT, everyone out there, they wrote, I don't know, probably 16, 18 tickets, those trucks. And, the thing about it is, it is a government, it is, even though it's a government road. And if, and all we can do is actually write them tickets for their violation. Now, they did cut their weight down, but it still didn't help with the traffic. And they were hauling at all hours, I know if you live out there, and, but that as far as, and the sheriff, again, bring them in, but there's only certain thing they can do. The people that really made a dent in it was the Department of Transportation, the enforcement, those people that's got the skills.
Right.
They come out there, and they wrote a lot of tickets, Has it not slowed down? I mean,
It slowed down, but it's starting to pick back up, but, the road, they would come out and
Yeah.
patch the road,
Yeah.
and 2 days later, it's.
yeah, it
What they
tore it
patched
down.
was gone,
Yeah.
and you have a crater
Yeah.
in the middle of the road.
Yeah,
So, it's just frustrating, and then it's for a
Yeah.
community in another state that's not gonna be contributing
Yeah.
entirely,
Yeah.
to those. that-
Not only that, they're hauling out of state, so we're not getting anything. They're hauling from over there, out of Tennessee, through us, coming back, and then they're dumping and building it in Tennessee. So it's just, I understand what you're saying. Now, believe me, we've been round and round with them, with the only company with the trucks that's hauling, but also their commissioner over there. They're actually, road, the Marion County, Anyway, we'll give you our contacts, and, in your spare time, jot down some of this stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we got any questions on the pertaining, any comments on our millage rate? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept our millage rate at 8.000.
We're not voting on it.
We can't,
That's not.
oh, Monday, that's right, because the school board. Yeah, that's right. I will announce this also, the school board, they're having their meeting at 6 o'clock, right, and then we'll be here at 6:30, yeah. Yeah, I keep thinking all day that this was a school board, our meeting we do every year, but it's not. But anyway, if there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, let me call a vote, and I have a second.
Second.
Call a vote, Ms. Bradford,
Yes.
Mr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Hartline,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
and Chair votes yes. Appreciate you coming, really do, and we'll see y'all back here at 6:30 on Monday evening.